So today we are in Altea in Spain, and we have the great honor to have an interview with Sondra Ray, coming all the way from United States, and she comes only once a year to Spain. Let me introduce her to you. Her name is Sondra Ray. So welcome, Sondra.
Thank you.
We having some main questions for you. We would like you to answer and share that with us. So what is the main key of having a great relationship?
Well, first of all, both people in the partnership have to be aware that their thoughts are producing their results, and that positive thoughts produce positive results and negative thoughts produce negative results. Also, they have to be aware that their subconscious thoughts are producing results. If that is not known, then it's very hard to clear a relationship. Also, they have to understand that their mate is like their guru. And guru means teacher. So their mate is going to bring up everything that's unconscious in their partner. And so one has to know how to process that. And so you have to have techniques for conflict resolution, etc. So in the new paradigm, we say what is needed is a spiritual partnership.
New paradigm?
Yes, the new paradigm is a new way of doing things.
Great.
So the new paradigm...
2015, 2016.
Right. In the new paradigm, your mate helps you evolve, and you are together for the evolution of your souls, and you both know that, and so you're helping each other improve all the time. Instead of fighting, you are helping each other change and get better and evolve to a higher frequency.
And how do you settle disagreements with anger? It's a very difficult thing to find the disagreements in this anger that you're having. How do you do that?
Oh, that's an interesting subject, right. So my teacher, Babaji, has taught me the highest teaching on this subject, in my opinion. He said, you don't suppress the anger. That hurts your body. But you don't dump it on someone else, like your mate or another person. That hurts them.
Makes
so
sense.
What do you do then? He said you have to change the thought that causes the anger. So you have to be aware of what the thoughts are causing your anger by doing a process. You could say, for example, I'm feeling activated. You don't have to be yelling, you don't have to be screaming. Feeling activated, and the negative thought I have that's making me feel activated is, and then you verbalize it. And sometimes that will just neutralize the anger. If it doesn't neutralize the charge, then you need to breathe, take a cold shower, or run around the block 5 times.
Okay.
But you don't fight. This is not necessary.
So quitting the fight in principle,
Right.
with your technique. And how do you settle disagreements with anger?
Well, first of all, you decide not to be angry, and you
Right.
have an agreement that you want a conflict-free relationship right at the beginning.
Conflict-free relationship. I go for that.
Yeah, then you have to learn conflict resolution techniques, okay? So the best one that I ever learned was the game of the highest spiritual thought. So, okay, both parties have to be willing to play this game. And the idea is you're willing to go for a solution right from the beginning. And you both have to give up the need to be right, okay?
Very difficult.
And the need to control.
Right, very difficult.
And you say, well, what is the highest spiritual thought we could come up with for a solution to this problem we disagree on?
Yes.
Okay. So let's say I tell you my thought and you tell me your thought, and then we keep bouncing these thoughts back and forth. The highest spiritual thought would be the one that we could come up with that would be the most positive, the most loving, the most productive, and it would feel the best in our bodies. Now, if you were my mate and you channeled the highest thought, then I would gladly go up to your thought. If I channel the highest thought, then you gladly go up to my thought, and we're finished. We don't have any more discussion. Now, if we get 2 thoughts that are equally high, we don't fight about that. We say, okay, let's go apart and meditate and see which one of these is the highest thought. But usually you can tell because you feel great when you hear it. Your body just lightens up. And
Yes.
so then you're done. It's not hard and it's fun.
So from this anger, you have to be willing. Both people have to be willing.
They have
to go to that sitting together and really discuss and really listen to each other.
Right, and they have to choose peace above all else. They have to both be willing to drop their anger and go for a peaceful solution.
So what happens when somebody is shouting at you? I mean, you cannot shout back. So how would you deal the best way with that?
First of all, in a partnership, you would have an agreement not to have any shouting.
Yeah, but it happens in
But
real
if
life
there
sometimes.
is someone else shouting at you, what you could do is you could say, well, I choose not to participate in this energy. I'm going to leave and walk out of the room. And when you feel calm, I'll come back and talk to you.
I come back
You
and-
have a right to put your body wherever you want. If you keep your body in a place where someone is shouting, it actually is harmful to your vibrations.
Yes. We're dealing in our society a lot with being alone. We have a lot of divorce going on. 3 out of 4 marriages collapse. A lot of women are alone, and a lot of men are also alone. How do you cope with being alone? How do you get over being alone and feeling alone if you cannot find a relationship? How do you deal with that?
Okay, so first of all, if the person wants a relationship, they have to give up the thought, I cannot find one.
Okay.
And if they're alone and they want to be with someone, they have to visualize finding that person. Of course, what we use is the cosmic dating service. You don't have to go online anymore. So you ask the divine or the higher power, God or infinite intelligence, whatever you want to call it, to send you the right mate. And then you say to God or whoever you're speaking to on another dimension, if I'm not ready, make me ready. Please send me the perfect mate for me. If I'm not ready, make me ready. Then you have to think positively. You have to say, I am so happy and grateful my mate is now coming to me. You have to act as if he's
already there.
Yeah, you have to act as if
Okay.
it's already there. Because if you say, oh, please, will you come to me? It's like they're out there somewhere and they can't get here,
Yeah, and it's
So
a
you
kind
have
of-
to act as if. And by saying, I'm so happy and grateful, that really puts you closer to the source that helps bring it to you.
Right. Can we have different names? Because in Spain, of course, the Catholic Church is quite present, but internationally, people from other religion. Could you name a couple of different names that we could not, of course, replace God? The God is there as the godly divine. Could you tell us different names?
Yes, one can use infinite intelligence, or one can use the Great Spirit instead of God, but you could also pray to the Divine Mother. You could pray to the Virgin Mary here in Spain, that would work, or any guru that you are studying with.
Or even life force.
Life force is another good
Would
term.
also work. We are sexual beings, and I know that we are emotional beings, but why does sex cause so much problem?
Oh, yes. Well, okay. I'd like to answer that question. It's a very good question. First, sex is such intense energy. You're dealing with a more powerful life force than usual when you're engaging in sex. And people have fear of energy, and sometimes they have fear of even being in the nude because it reminds them of their birth, and they had trauma at birth, so they can't even relax because their birth memories come up. And what happens in sex is all this energy brings up everything unlike love. Love is very powerful energy. When you are having sex, hopefully you're having a lot of love with that person. And all that energy of sex and love is so strong, it pushes up from your unconscious anything unlike love.
Unlike love.
So all this stuff that's suppressed starts coming up once you have a sexual relationship. And it could be your past lives, could be your birth trauma, could be the parental disapproval syndrome, could be your negative thoughts about yourself. any of that stuff that's in your subconscious is going to start coming up. So if people don't know how to handle that, they just freak out with sex and they get nervous and scared, and it's just too much to deal with.
Because sometimes in the beginning of a relationship, not all will show up. It will show up after 1 year or half a year, or even when you get married, even
Right.
then actually. How does that come?
Because most people, when they first have the romantic period, they're keeping their whole suppressed, their whole, we call it their case, which is all their negativity. They're keeping it suppressed, okay? And they can only keep it suppressed for so long, maybe only 2 months, and then pretty soon it's going to come up. When you move in with someone or get married, then you start recreating the past family you had, unfortunately. And so your mate starts becoming like your mother, your mate starts becoming like your father, and then all your anger at your parents comes up.
You don't realize that.
Right.
Because you're dealing with this subject like how many years? Because you started very early in life.
Oh yeah, I started in 1974 when rebirthing began in California. And my clients came to me and they would tell me all their problems, and they would tell me about their sex life and their marriage. Then I would give them a breathwork session, and they might have a birth memory, and I could see how their birth was affecting their relationships. So I started writing that down. That's how I became well known.
And you are one of the founders who really investigated and went very deep in that and have this new technique.
Right. Leonard Orr started rebirthing, and then I helped spread it in the world and perfect it. And now I'm still perfecting it. I'm making it more spiritual, and now I'm calling it liberation breathing, which is a new expression of rebirthing.
Yes. So you feel liberated after or during the breathing and the technique that you're teaching us to overcome that.